We have no idea what happened. This is probably the most upsetting one. But when you realize that the camera cut quite a few times and you're missing time, you have no idea what has happened. And with the politicians as they are, it's hard to say anything is true.
Can you walk us through what we've just seen, Officer Fanon?
Well, I believe the first portion of that video began, was my body-worn camera footage from the crypt area of the Capitol Rotunda. It was there that I first heard the...
So as we watch him, as he's talking about this body cam, we're doing a lot of brain search. And we're being very gated in that brain search. And we can chalk that up to he's trying to be accurate, because we're not really seeing anything else. We see nervousness, which in this situation, a committee hearing in front of people that are your superiors, you're going to be a little nervous. So we can say that's normal. So let's look for the unnormal.
1033 or distress call come out from the Lower West Terrace tunnel, which I didn't realize at the time was only a few hundred yards away from where I was at. I told my partner, Jimmy Albright, who was...
A lot of swallowing there as well. We see gated and doing, and we see swallowing.
There with me, that there was a 1033 coming out from the Lower West Terrace. We tried to get our bearings and figure out which way that might be. We asked a group of Capitol police officers, and they directed us down a set of stairs. From there, Jimmy and I walked down to the Lower West Terrace tunnel. The first thing I remember was seeing a buddy of mine, Sergeant Bill Bogner, who's a administrative sergeant. He used to work in my district. Now he works over at the academy. And he was unable to see. He had been sprayed in the face with bear mace. And I went up to him and told him, hey, it's Fanon. I remember he stretched out his hand to shake mine. And that's when he told me that the guys that were just beyond that set of double doors had been fighting there for, I believe he said about 30 minutes. I don't think he realized what time it was because they'd been fighting since around 1 p.m. It was 3 o'clock. So those guys have been there fighting for 2 hours unrelieved. I remember looking up through the set of double doors. There was glass panes, and you could see the CS gas, like white powder, still lingering in the air. It was at that point that I realized I probably should have brought my gas mask. So I went through the double doors, and I saw Ramey Kyle, who's at the time a commander with our Criminal Investigations Division, overseeing all the detectives units. Like many other officers, sergeants, lieutenants, captains that day, he self-deployed and found himself commanding a group of about 30 or 40 officers there in the Lower West Terrace tunnel.
Now, as I'm watching this, I've already mentioned about what we're seeing in the face and what we're seeing with the brain search. What I find a little bit disturbing is the lack of visual, which always makes me think for this situation, it's a rehearsed story. And that's why we're getting so much brain search. And you can have all kinds of stories. Ones that are completely made up, which go to another set of lookings for the brain. One that is based in truth, that includes the visual part of the brain. And then one that is a version of truth. And this one looks like a version of truth. And what do I mean by a version of truth? Because we don't know the ins and outs of the story, we can't use it as an example. So I bring out my metaphors. Ta-da! Now this is just a metaphor, but I'm hoping because it's so blatant in its metaphor, you understand, because it can vary in its degrees. I'm making a plate of cookies. My goal in making this plate of cookies is to get my children to come sit with me. Now, if I just put cookies on a plate, they're not going to come sit with me. I have to physically go find them. And I don't want to go find them. So I'm diabolical. I'm going to turn the fan on. I'm going to point that fan in direction of them. So when the cookie dough starts to bring out that wonderful aroma, and because they're so predictable, I know as soon as the scent hits their nose, they're going to come a running. And by the time they get there, because I know how much time it takes, I'm going to have the cookies where I want them to lead them exactly where I need them to be so that we can sit down and have cookies. Now, I don't want the children to know that I've manipulated them into sitting with me without having to go get them. So when asked about the situation, I'm going to say something to the effect of, yeah, I just wanted something sweet, got some cookies and milk and went and sat down, and then everybody came. See how that works? This is why it's upsetting not to see any kind of visual, because you need that visual so that you can look at the situation you were in at that moment. So you go to the visual, yes, I'm there, which triggers the emotional memory, which is stronger. And you keep going up and down. But here we're in gated and doing, which is the shades of truth.
Commander Kyle was having a difficult time breathing. I remember I followed him back out through the set of double doors into that initial hallway as he kind of cleared himself, straightened himself up. I described it before. I thought he looked like George Patton. I remember he put his hat back on and walked right back out through the...
Patton would eat your lunch. Next.
You guys may, individually feel a little broken. You guys all talk about the effects you have to deal with, and, you talk about the impact of that day. But you guys won.
I think he's got indigestion. Somebody get him an antacid.
You guys held. Democracies are not defined by our bad days.
Oh, you poor thing. Where did the conservative touch you?
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course available on Mandy's website for Gold subscribers, where Mandy teaches more about her techniques of deception detection. There's also other content such as the Crime series and Interesting Minds series available to both Gold and Silver subscribers.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, Fero. Fero is one of the few cryptocurrency projects that I respect. Unlike most other cryptocurrencies, Fero is focused on safeguarding your financial privacy without compromising on trustlessness, which means no third parties are required, and transactions are private by default. Fero also has an exciting roadmap to look forward to. Features such as Instant Send, where payments can both be sent and confirmed within seconds. There's also Elysium, which adds tokenization functionality similar to Ethereum, but it also enables these assets to enjoy Fero's privacy technology. There's many more things on the roadmap, and if you'd like to learn more, head over to fero.org.